In October 2021, the world's most powerful social media company killed its own name. Facebook, a brand recognized by billions, was suddenly gone. In its place, a new, almost sci-fi-sounding name emerged, Meta. Mark Zuckerberg, standing in a virtual living room, promised us the future. He painted a picture of a digital frontier, a seamless blend of our physical and virtual lives, an interconnected universe where we could work, play, and connect in ways we had only dreamed of. He promised us the Metaverse, a real-life version of Ready Player One. But what we got was something else. Cut to the reality of Meta's flagship platform, Horizon Worlds. Instead of a breathtaking new dimension, users were greeted with a blocky, cartoonish landscape that felt like a step backward in time. The graphics were shockingly crude, drawing unfavorable comparisons to games from the mid-2000s, like the Nintendo Wii Plaza, and most famously, the avatars. Our digital representatives in this new world were just floating torsos. They had no legs. This wasn't the future we were promised. It was a clunky, low-resolution chat room that felt more like a tech demo from a bygone era than a revolution in human connection. The disconnect between the grand vision and the clumsy reality becomes truly staggering when you look at the cost. Since 2019, Meta's Reality Labs division, the arm responsible for building the Metaverse, has hemorrhaged an unbelievable amount of money. The total losses have surpassed an astronomical $50 billion. To put that number into perspective, that is more than the entire gross domestic product of countries like Bolivia or Paraguay. It's a figure so large it's difficult to comprehend. A mountain of cash burned in pursuit of a virtual dream that looked, to most people, like a cheap cartoon. The opportunity cost of this spending spree is just as mind-boggling. With $50 billion, Mark Zuckerberg could have gone on a historic acquisition binge. He could have purchased Discord, the dominant chat platform for gamers, Spotify, the king of music streaming, and Snapchat, a social media giant in its own right hand, still had billions left over. Instead of acquiring three established, beloved platforms with hundreds of millions of active users, he chose to build a buggy, empty, and widely mocked virtual chat room from scratch. The strategic choice was baffling. Nothing captured the public's bewilderment better than a single, infamous screenshot. In August 2022, to celebrate the launch of Horizon Worlds in France and Spain, Zuckerberg posted a virtual selfie. His crude, dead-eyed avatar stood in front of a low-poly model of the Eiffel Tower and a barren green landscape. The image went viral for all the wrong reasons. It was mercilessly mocked, becoming an instant meme that perfectly encapsulated the project's failure to impress. The graphics were so laughably bad that the public ridicule directly impacted investor confidence. In the days following the post, Meta's stock price took a noticeable hit. Behind the memes, the user data told an even bleaker story. Despite the billions invested, almost nobody was actually using the Metaverse. Leaked internal reports revealed that Horizon Worlds was a virtual ghost town. At its peak, the platform struggled to maintain more than a few 100,000 monthly active users. By late 2022, reports indicated that the number of daily users had fallen below the population of a small town, with many of its worlds completely devoid of people. Obscure, low-budget indie games on platforms like Steam often boasted larger and more engaged player bases. The digital frontier was desolate. A major barrier to entry was the hardware itself. The Quest 2 headset had seen some success as a gaming device. The most damning indictment, however, came from within Meta itself. Leaked internal memos revealed a state of internal mutiny against the Metaverse. It turned out that even the employees who were being paid to build this new world didn't want to use it. The platform was so buggy, and the user experience so underwhelming that managers were reduced to begging their own staff to log in. In one memo, a vice president lamented the quality issues and pleaded with employees to commit to using Horizon Worlds at least once a week, admitting, "The simple truth is, if we don't love it, how can we expect our users to love it?" As Meta floundered, a new challenger appeared on the horizon: Apple. The launch of the Apple Vision Pro in early 2024 was seen by many as the real test for the future of spatial computing. Technologically, it was a marvel, leagues ahead of Meta's hardware in every conceivable way. Yet even with Apple's design prowess and ecosystem, the Vision Pro also struggled to find a mainstream audience, hampered by its own eye-watering $3,500 price tag and questions about its practical use cases. Apple's challenges seemed to confirm a larger truth. Maybe the problem wasn't just Meta's execution. Maybe people simply aren't ready to spend their days with a computer strapped to their face. By the end of 2022, Wall Street had lost all patience. Investors, watching the company burn billions per quarter on a project with no tangible return, staged a revolt. The stock price collapsed, plummeting over 70% from its peak, erasing hundreds of billions of dollars in market value. Analysts and shareholders alike openly called for Zuckerberg to rein in his spending, cut his losses, and refocus the company on its profitable core business of social media and advertising. The message was clear: stop chasing this expensive fantasy. Then, just as the pressure reached its peak, a new technological wave crashed onto the scene: generative AI. The public launch of OpenAI's ChatGPT in late 2022 changed everything. Suddenly, the entire tech world was obsessed with large language models. Seeing the shift, Mark Zuckerberg executed a swift and decisive pivot. The enthusiastic talk of avatars and virtual worlds faded. Quietly, the metaverse was moved to the back burner. Zuckerberg began talking relentlessly about AI, launching Meta's own powerful model, Llama, and repositioning the company as a leader in the artificial intelligence race. Following the pivot, 2023 was declared the year of efficiency at Meta. The company underwent massive restructuring. Zuckerberg, once the champion of a sprawling virtual future, became a ruthless cost-cutter. Over 20,000 employees were laid off in a series of brutal cuts. Budgets were slashed, and non-essential projects were abandoned. Wall Street loved it. As costs came down and the focus returned to the profitable core business now supercharged with AI-driven ad tools, Meta's stock price soared, staging one of the most remarkable comebacks in corporate history. So, is the metaverse dead? Not quite. The bonfire of cash is still burning. Reality Labs continues to lose over $4 billion every single quarter, a staggering sum that is now treated as a footnote in earnings calls. The grand vision is no longer front and center, but the spending continues in the background, a quiet but costly reminder of Zuckerberg's unwavering commitment. The hype is gone, but the expense remains. Ironically, the only truly successful hardware product to emerge from Reality Labs during this period was the one that did have a screen. The Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses, which feature a camera and built-in AI assistant but no virtual reality display, have been a surprise hit. People seem to be interested in technology that augments their reality subtly, not one that replaces it entirely. It's a product that connects you to the world, rather than pulling you out of it. Ultimately, what drove this monumental gamble? Many analysts believe it was about one man's ego, Mark Zuckerberg, having built his empire on the open web and mobile platforms controlled by Google and Apple, desperately wanted to own the next computing platform. He saw the metaverse as his chance to build the iPhone of the future, a closed ecosystem where he made the rules and no longer had to bow to the whims of Tim Cook. It was a bid for ultimate control, a chance to become the Steve Jobs of the next generation. But the project failed to account for a fundamental aspect of human nature. The core promise of Facebook was connection. The metaverse, by its very design, is isolating. It requires you to strap a headset to your face, covering your eyes and blocking you off from the people and the world right in front of you. While technology should bring people closer together, the metaverse physically separates them. It's an anti-social solution to social networking. So why does he keep spending? The answer may lie in the sunk cost fallacy. When you've already invested $50 billion and staked your entire corporate identity and personal legacy on an idea, admitting failure becomes almost impossible. Every billion spent makes it harder to walk away. Zuckerberg has invested too much to quit now, so the spending continues. Driven by the hope that if he just spends a little more, for a little longer, the vision might finally materialize. Perhaps, in 10 or 20 years, we'll look back and see that he was right all along. Maybe technology will catch up, headsets will become as light and comfortable as a pair of glasses, and the virtual world will become an indispensable part of our lives. But right now, in this moment, the metaverse looks like one of the single most expensive business mistakes in modern history. It stands as a powerful lesson for every visionary, founder, and builder. It proves that just because you build it, doesn't mean they will come. The metaverse isn't entirely dead, but the hype that surrounded it certainly is. Mark Zuckerberg learned a hard lesson, taught at the cost of tens of billions of dollars. You can't force the future. You have to build what people actually want. If you want to see how another tech billionaire burned a fortune, click subscribe to watch our next documentary on how Elon Musk incinerated $44 billion on Twitter. I'll see you there.